The Soviet Union believed it had found the answer to American naval dominance. During the Cold War, the United States and its NATO allies controlled the oceans with overwhelming numbers. Matching that power ship for ship was impossible. So Soviet strategists chose a different path. Instead of building more vessels, they would build better ones, faster, deeper, more extreme. Submarines became the centerpiece of this strategy, weapons designed to disappear beneath the ocean and guarantee nuclear deterrence through invisibility. To achieve that goal, Soviet engineers made a radical decision. They abandoned traditional steel hulls and turned to titanium. It was an extraordinary gamble. Titanium was lighter than steel, incredibly strong, resistant to corrosion, and non-magnetic. It allowed submarines to dive deeper than anything NATO possessed, reach astonishing speeds, and evade magnetic detection systems. On paper, it looked like a technological revolution. Projects like the Papa, Alpha, Sierra, and Komsomolet submarines shocked Western intelligence. Some could exceed 40 knots underwater. Others could dive beyond 1,000 meters, far deeper than most Western torpedoes could reach. These submarines were expensive, difficult to build, and nearly impossible to maintain. But to Soviet planners, the cost was worth it. They believed speed and depth would restore balance. What they didn't fully understand was that the United States was fighting a different war. American naval doctrine wasn't focused on outrunning submarines or diving deeper than them. It focused on listening. Because underwater, nothing truly disappears. Every submarine produces sound, not just from engines, but from vibrations, cavitation, internal machinery, and the subtle resonance of metal moving through water. And sound travels extraordinarily well in the ocean. Long before Soviet titanium submarines reached full operational capability, the United States had already transformed the ocean floor into a sensor network. Quietly, and without public attention, the U.S. Navy deployed vast arrays of hydrophones across strategic choke points and deep water routes. These listening devices were connected by underwater cables and monitored continuously. The system was called SOSUS, the Sound Surveillance System. SOSUS didn't track submarines visually. It didn't need to. It listened for acoustic signatures, unique sound patterns that acted like fingerprints. Once identified, those signatures could be tracked across thousands of kilometers. Speed didn't matter. Depth didn't matter. If a submarine made noise, it could be heard. Slowly, Soviet commanders began to notice something disturbing. American submarines always seemed to be nearby. NATO forces reacted too quickly. Interceptions happened with uncanny precision. Routes believed to be secret were no longer safe. At first, Soviet officers blamed coincidence. Then they blamed leaks. Eventually, they blamed each other. But the pattern was undeniable. Even the most advanced titanium submarines were being tracked. Inside Soviet naval command rooms, confidence eroded. These submarines were meant to guarantee deterrence, to ensure that if war came, the Soviet Union could respond from the depths. But deterrence depends on uncertainty. If the enemy knows where you are, the threat collapses. And worse still, Soviet commanders began to fear that American submarines were not only tracking them, but doing so silently, for days or even weeks, without ever revealing their presence. Speed could not save them. Depth could not save them. Titanium could not save them. The Cold War beneath the oceans was not a race of machines, but a contest of perception. And the United States had gained the upper hand without firing a single shot. By turning the ocean itself into a listening device, America removed the illusion of safety Soviet submarines relied upon. The Soviet Union built the fastest submarines ever created, the deepest diving machines in naval history. But the Cold War was not decided by who could build the most extreme weapons. It was decided by who could detect first, understand first, and act first. And when Soviet commanders finally realized that their most advanced submarines were never truly alone, the ocean stopped being a place to hide.